आज हम स्टार्ट करेंगे पार्ट 4, ठीक है। बेसिक ऑफ थर्मोडायनेमिक्स है, ठीक है। देखते हैं। द मोर इफेक्टिव वे टू इंक्रीज द एफिशिएंसी ऑफ कार्नोट इंजन इज टू डिक्रीज द सिंक टेम्परेचर, ठीक है। तो क्या कह रहा है, इट इज स्टेट दैट ऑल हीट इंजन ऑपरेटिंग बिटवीन ए गिवन कांस्टेंट टेम्परेचर सोर्स एंड गिवन कांस्टेंट टेम्परेचर सिंक सोर्स और सिंक, ठीक है। तो द एफिशिएंसी ऑफ कार्नोट इंजन क्या होता है, T1 माइनस T2 अपन T1। तो एफिशिएंसी ऑफ कार्नोट 1 माइनस T2 अपन T1। तो द एफिशिएंसी ऑफ कार्नोट इंजन इंक्रीज बाय डिक्रीजिंग द सिंक टेम्परेचर, ठीक है। तो घटाने से एफिशिएंसी इंक्रीज हो जाएगी, ठीक है। आगे देखते हैं। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, consider two Carnot engines C1 and C2 such the heat discarded by C1 is used as an input for the C2 cycle with the average temperature being the geometrical mean of the extreme temperature. Which option give the appropriate relationship for the efficiency? Both the engine C1 and C2 have the same efficiency, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं, ठीक है। इस तरीके से आप सॉल्व करके पता कर सकते हो, ठीक है। ये देखते हैं। The law of thermodynamics that hint at the fact that no heat engine can have efficiency equal to 100% is the which is the second law, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट पढ़ते हैं। What is the cyclic integral of dq by t for a reversible process which is 0? The coefficient of performance for the Carnot refrigeration cycle and the coefficient of performance of Carnot heat pump COP is related to COP HP minus COP refrigeration cycle is equal to 1, ठीक है। ये ऑप्शन करेक्ट। Thermal efficiency of heat engine cycle is defined as net work output upon total heat input. Which of the following true according to the calculus statement? It is possible to construct a device that can transfer heat from a cooler body to hotter body without any effect. B option is impossible to construct a device that can transfer heat from a cooler body to a hotter body without any effect. And C option is it is impossible to construct a device that can be transferred from heat from hotter body to a cooler body without any effect. D option, it is impossible to construct a device that can be transfer heat from cooler body to hotter body with any effect. So we know that the option B is correct. It is impossible to construct a device that transfer heat from a cooler body to hotter body without any effect. This is known as Celsius statement, ठीक है। और नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं। In a Carnot engine, when the working substance give heat to sink, which is temperature of the sink remain the same. The efficiency of Carnot cycle may be increased by decreasing the lowest temperature. Which one of the following is an example of low grade energy, which is a thermal energy? Which one of the following is law is also called law of degradation of energy, which second law of thermodynamics? नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं। Which one of the following is the correct assumption made by describing the work of Carnot cycle, which is a compression and expansion are reversible? The ratio of high temperature to low temperature for a reverse Carnot refrigerator is 1.25. The COP will be TH upon TL equal to 1.25. We know that COP reference TL upon TH minus TL equal to TL upon TL ब्रैकेट में TH upon TL minus 1. तो COP का हो जाएगा 4 हो जाएगा। ऑप्शन सी इज करेक्ट ऑप्शन। It is impossible to construct a device which operates on a cycle and produce no other effect that the production of work and the transfer of heat from a single body. Thus, the said statement is given by Kelvin Planck. In the Carnot cycle heat engine, if the source temperature is increased, the efficiency क्या हो जाएगा, डिक्रीजेस हो जाएगा, ठीक है। बी ऑप्शन, सॉरी, इट्स विल बी इंक्रीज हो जाएगा, ठीक है। आगे बढ़ते हैं। Which of the following is not a process happening in Carnot cycle, which is isobaric expansion, ठीक है। आगे बढ़ते हैं। The heat flow occurs, क्या होगा, from the hotter to cooler body, ठीक है। Heat transfer takes place according to which law of thermodynamics, which is a second law of thermodynamics। आगे बढ़ते हैं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन की तरफ। आपका प्री propulsion motion machine of the second kind violates the क्या होगा Kelvin Planck's statement. Any thermodynamics process is accompanied by the entropy generation. This state is based on which is the second law of thermodynamics. It is impossible to construct a device which operating in a cycle will produce no effect other than transfer of heat from a cooler to the hotter body. This is Celsius statement. An engine operates between the temperature limits of 900 Kelvin and T2. Another engine operates between T2 and 400 Kelvin. For the both engines to be equally efficient, T2 should be equal to, ठीक है, तो इस सेम टाइप का क्वेश्चन किए हैं. T1 900 केल्विन, थ्री 400 केल्विन एंड T2 पूछ रहा है आपसे. ठीक है, तो आप कैलकुलेट करोगे इस तरीके. ठीक है, T2 इक्वल टू रूट T1 T3. ठीक है, यहाँ T2 600 केल्विन आ जाएगा. ठीक है, ये ऑप्शन. ठीक है, which law represent the limit of converting heat into work, which is second law of thermodynamics. Which of the following device complies with the Celsius statement of the second law of thermodynamics, which is a domestic refrigerator? For thermodynamic cycle O to the reversible, it is necessary that integration of delta Q by T is equal to 0. The, the certain of reversibility of cycle is provided by Celsius inequality. About which machine is the second law of thermodynamics given by Celsius, which is a refrigerator? The second law of efficiency of process defined as the ratio of minimum energy intake of perform the given task to the actual energy intake to perform the same task. Following is the statement dash laws. It is impossible for a system working in complete cycle to accomplish as that sole effect the transfer of heat from a body at a given temperature to a body at higher temperature, which is a second law of thermodynamics. Which of the following is true with respect to PMM2? Which is correct statement is A, which is it violates the Kelvin Planck's statement. ठीक है, तो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. The thermal efficiency of perpetual motion machine, the second kind PMM2 is which is 100%. This Celsius inequality holds good for any cycle. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. Which mechanism keep the body temperature below that its surrounding, which is a refrigerator? Fill in the blanks. Correct option atmospheric air is the form of air conditioning, which is a sink. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. Which of the following statement do not explicitly describe the second law of thermodynamics? The entropy of perfect crystal at absolute zero temperature exactly equal to zero. Fill in the blanks as with an appropriate option. Its typical heat pump. The process does make the working fluid hotter, which is a compression. It is impossible for any system to operate in the way that entropy is destroyed. This statement form entropy statement of the second law of thermodynamics. Reversible heat transfer demands, which is the correct answer. The temperature difference causing heat transfer tend to 0. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट देखते हैं. The transfer of heat takes place from body of higher temperature to the body of lower temperature as per second law of thermodynamics. Next question देखते हैं. Three engine A, B, C operating and Carnot cycle respectively use air, steam and helium as the working fluid. If all the engines operate with the same high and low temperature limit, then which engine will have the highest efficiency? तो देख लेते हैं कैसे. efficiency TH minus TL upon TH. ठीक है, इससे आपको पता चले all engine will have the same efficiency. ठीक है, which one of the following pair of equation describe an irreversible heat engine, which is A. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Kelvin Planck law deals with which is a conversion of heat into work. ठीक है, अब देखेंगे एंट्रोपी के बारे में. ठीक है, ठीक है, एंट्रोपी देखते हैं. चेंज ऑफ एंट्रोपी इन ए रिवर्सिबल प्रोसेस डिपेंड अपॉन चेंज ऑफ हीट. ठीक है, If a fluid flows through a turbine, the entropy of the inlet fluid S1 is related to entropy of fluid leaves the turbine SC, which is SI is less than equal to SC. The third law of thermodynamics, which will be said that to provide a base from which entropy is measured. ठीक है? The third law of thermodynamics is given by the Nurset and Siemens. It is based on the low temperature chemical reaction observation. The entropy of the poor crystalline substance at a nearly absolute zero temperature is zero. The entropy of a substance that is not pure crystalline is not zero at nearly absolute zero temperature, since more than one muscular configuration exists for such substance, which introduce some uncertainty about the microscopic state of the substance. Yeah. Next, change in entropy for polytropic process expressed as which is delta S equal to Cb gamma minus n upon 1 minus n ln T2 upon T1. Which of the following process there is an increase in entropy with no degradation of energy, which is isothermal expansion? A system of perfect gas undergoes a reversible adiabatic expansion process. First, entropy will increase. Second, its entropy will be zero. Third, the entropy change of the surrounding will be zero, which is 2 and third statements are correct. A system of 100 kg mass undergoes a process in which its specific entropy increase from 0.3 to 0.4 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. At the same time, the entropy of the surrounding decreases from 80 kilojoule per Kelvin to 75 kilojoule per Kelvin. The process is irreversible. ठीक है, तो कैसे लेंगे आप यहाँ से सॉल्यूशन देखते हैं. Hot and cold water are mixed together. Entropy of system will be, तो which means will be increased. ठीक है, next question देखते हैं. In a polytropic process, the entropy change from state 1 to 2 per unit mass of gas S2 S1 symbolic means S2 minus S1 Cb in ln P2 upon P1 plus Cp ln V2 upon V1. Entropy at absolute zero temperature zero for a perfect crystal. A constant volume process is plotted on Ts diagram. The slope is delta T upon delta S is given by which is a T by C. Okay, next. During the throttling process, entropy will be increased. During adiabatic process, entropy change from zero. Okay. For an isolated system, delta S, which is the process followed by system, is reversible. Okay. Next question देखते हैं. ठीक है. The absolute entropy is zero for all perfect crystalline substance at absolute zero temperature. This statement is known as the Newton's third law of thermodynamics. The work done is irreversible. Adiabatic expansion by a turbine is called internal work. Entropy change depends on heat transfer. Next question देखते हैं. The increase in entropy of system represent degradation of energy. 1 kilogram of water at room temperature is brought into contact with high temperature reservoir. The entropy change of the universe is always positive. It is impossible by any procedure, no matter how idealized, to reduce the entropy of any system to the absolute zero of temperature in the finite number operation. This is which is third law of thermodynamics. For an isolated system, change in entropy of system must be Ts is greater than or equal to zero. The thermodynamics property which is evaluated with the help of Maxwell equation for the idea of the measurable property of system, which is entropy. Entropy of an isolated system can never decreases. Change of entropy per kg is zero for the adiabatic process, which is the characteristics of entropy, which it decreases when heat is removed, whether temperature change or not. The equation for change of entropy per kg is R log V2 upon V1 is for isothermal process. The relation ds delta Q upon T for entropy change during a process valid for only for reversible process. A system undergoes a state change from 1 to 2 according to the second law of thermodynamics. For the process of feasible, the entropy changes to minus S1 of the system, which is can be positive, negative, or 0. 1 kilo mole of an ideal gas is throttled for an initial pressure of 0.5 megapascal to 0.1 megapascal. The initial temperature is 300 Kelvin. The entropy change in the inverse is 13.38 kilojoule per Kelvin. Okay, next question. When a system undergoes a process such that T is on delta Q upon T equal to 0 and delta S is greater than 0, the process is called irreversible adiabatic. ठीक है, अब हम देखें thermodynamics properties of pure substance. ठीक है, fill in the blanks with the correct option. The amount of heat required to convert 1 unit of substance from solid phase to its liquid phase without any change in temperature called dash of the substance, which is the latent heat of fusion. While calculating the specific enthalpy of wet steam, which of the following quantities is no use to us, which is specific volume of saturated steam? For a given pure substance, what quantity of the material remains constant while measuring the saturation pressure, which is temperature? Consider the given pressure temperature graph. What is the slope made by fusion curve, which is negative? At a certain point on the phase diagram of substance, the liquid and vapor gases become indistinguishable. What is the point called, which is critical point? Fill in the blanks with the appropriate word as from the option. In a steam table, the data always refer to the properties of steam at the boiling point. The latent heat of steam with increase in pressure decreases. ठीक है, आगे देखते हैं. Next question. Dash can be measured by the throttling calorimeter, very high dryness fraction up to 0.9. If the vapor is not superheated after compression, it is called wet compression. The isothermal compressibility of substance given by expansion of Kt equal to 1 minus B del P upon dP. The temperature at which the transformation of ice into water and steam at constant pressure occur is called which is known as the temperature at which transformation of the ice of water steam is called saturation temperature, and C option correct. ठीक है, मैच द फॉलोइंग लिस्ट 1 and 2. ठीक है, क्रिटिकल पॉइंट सबलिशन ट्रिपलेट पॉइंट. ठीक है, तो आपको पता है critical point properties saturation liquid and saturated vapor are identical. Sublimation, which is a heating process where solid get directly transferred to gaseous phase, and triple point, all the three phase solid, liquid and vapor coexist in equilibrium. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Choose the correct option for the critical pressure and temperature of water, which is 221 bar and 374 centigrade. The heating and drying and saturation stream of the saturation temperature is known as superheating. Which of the following statement is correct about the density of water? Density of water is maximum at 4 degrees centigrade. The mixture of two or more pure substance is a pure substance as long as the chemical composition all phases is the same. Sublimation of the process of the changing from solid state to direct gas state. Superhydrated vapor behaves as ideal gas approximately. Which of the following two properties are not sufficient to specify the state of wet vapor, which is pressure and temperature? 1 kg steam sample contains 0.4 kg water vapor. Its dryness factor is 0.4 divided by 1.4. At a triple point of pure substance, the number of degree of freedom is 0. The entropy of dry saturated steam dash with the increase in pressure, which decreases. When water is heated at a constant pressure above the critical point, then it forms liquid plus vapor to phase mixture. Calculate the dryness fraction of steam which has 2.5 kg of water in suspension with 60 kg of steam, which is 0.96. Saturated liquid or saturated vapor has how many independent variable, which is approximate 1. ठीक, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Which of the following exists in PV diagram for water, which is more than one of the above? The representation of isotropic process on TS diagram is done with the help of a vertical line. A saturation state is a state for which a change in phase may occur, which is without a change of pressure or temperature. The properties of water are arranged in the steam tube as a function of a pressure and temperature. Dash line on the molar chart represent dash process, which is a vertical and isotropic. Which of the following is not a pure substance, which is a mixture of gas, phase and liquid water? Which of the following statement is correct regarding term reduced pressure, which is it is the ratio of existing pressure to the critical pressure of a substance? Which of the following is true for the given pressure, temperature diagram, phase diagram, pure substance? Which is the correct answer is the A. Curve OB is the sublimation curve. ठीक है, आगे देखते हैं. Choose the correct answer. The correct answer, which is the slope of the vaporization curve, is always positive for all pure substance. You are using a separating calorimeter. Calculate the dryness fraction of the steam. The amount of steam considered during the process is 5.1 kg and the mass of water obtained from the separator is 1.7 kg. What is dryness fraction, which is 75%? What is the percentage of dryness for the following: saturated steam and saturated water, which is 100%, or saturated water for 0%? Which of the following is not a pure substance, which is the mixture of liquid air and gaseous air? ठीक है, आगे देखते हैं. The process at which liquid and vapor can coexist is known as vapor pressure. ठीक है, ठीक है. Next question. You have given a liquid vapor mixture where A and B are the masses of liquid and vapor respectively. What could be dryness fraction in the given scenario, which is D equal to B divided by A plus B. ठीक है. The energy required to vaporize 1 mole of a liquid is known as molar heat of vaporization. If mg represent mass of dry steam and mr represent mass of water in suspension, dryness fraction steam is, which is the correct option is the A, mg upon mg plus mf. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. White ice is solid sub-cooled water, B fast cooled water due to dissolved air, gases and impurities produced by blowing air during freezing, which is C option is correct. Okay. Liquid evaporate first at the condition of low attraction force. Vertical lines on pure enthalpy charts show constant total heat lines. ठीक है. The amount of heat required to convert water at a given temperature and pressure into steam at same temperature and pressure is known as latent heat of water. External work evaporation is defined as heat expended in overcoming the external resistance to change in volume. The heat acquired or released during a phase change is called latent heat. During phase change process of water, both pressure and temperature remains constant. The equivalent evaporation is defined as the amount of water evaporated from 100 degrees centigrade or to dry and saturated steam at 100 degrees centigrade. Variation in a specific volume of water if it is heated at 273 Kelvin, and correct option first decrease then increase. The latent heat of steam at temperature pressure is 2257 kilojoule per kg. With increase in pressure and temperature of steam function will increase. The dash is a dash on the PV diagram where all three phases exist in equilibrium is triple point line. Superheating of steam is done at a constant pressure. Molar diagram is also known as enthalpy entropy chart. The steam generator of a nuclear power plant is best described as saturated wet steam. A pure liquid at a given pressure will be transferred into vapor only at a particular temperature known as Saturation temperature. In a PV diagram for a pure substance, the point at which saturated liquid line and the saturated vapor line meet is called, which is T option, which is a critical point. The state of pure substance can be fixed by specifying which is two properties. The entropy of moist air is given as sum of A and B. The process of mixing two or more stream of moist air, which is adiabatic. The steam is throttled is a enthalpy remains unchanged but the other properties change. Which of the following is a non-zero quantity of ideal gas with entropy change of mixing? Molar diagram is a plot of entropy and enthalpy. Ice melting into water at constant temperature 273 Kelvin, the volume is decreases. At a critical point, the enthalpy of vaporization is zero. Gas law are least valid in case of vapors. The vapor phase of the pure substance can change to solid phase directly when its pressure lies on sublimation line. For a pure substance, a triple point is the point at which its three phase or pure substance coexist. Latent heat of steam with increase in pressure which is decreases. Critical temperature of a gas is the temperature is above which it cannot be liquefied by pressure alone. Dry ice, when exposed to atmosphere, it transfers directly from solid to vapor. If the dryness fraction of a steam sample by throttle calorimeter is to 0.8 and that by spreading calorimeter is also 0.8, then the actual dryness fraction of sample will be 0.64. Next question देखते हैं. At critical pressure 221.2 bar, latent heat vaporization water is 0. The triple point temperature of water is 273.16 Kelvin. If a pure substance is below the triple point temperature, the solid or being heated will be vaporized or sublimate. Next देखते हैं. A throttling process is represented on Moeller chart by a horizontal line. Equation P plus AV square bracket में V minus V RT is which is a van der Waals equation. The critical process at which the latent heat of vaporization becomes zero for water is nearest 221 bar. With increase in pressure, the enthalpy of dry saturated steam which is increased. At lower temperature and pressure, the latent heat of vaporization refrigerator which increases. A mixture of two or more pure substance is a pure substance as long as the chemical composition all phases is the same. The degree of freedom of diatomic gas in general which is 5. System of comprising a single phase called which is a homogeneous system. The triple point temperature of water is known as 273.16 Kelvin. For real gas, the van der Waals equation of the states introduce correction factor or both the volume and pressure of the gas. The correction for volume is due to finite volume of gas molecules. Availability and general thermodynamics relation. 200 kilojoule of energy is transferred for a heat reservoir at 1050 Kelvin to a heat reservoir at 550 Kelvin. The ambient temperature is 310 Kelvin. The loss of available energy due to heat transfer process is 53.68 kilojoule. The maximum possible work a system delivers as it undergoes a reversible process from its specified initial state to the state of its environment is which is a x energy. Which of the following incorrect statement available energy is not a property of system which is the incorrect. ठीक है, देख लेते हैं. For a closed system undergoing a process between non-specified state, the decrease in availability or energy of the system is always equal to the irreversibility of the system. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. The maximum useful work potential of the system at a specified state is known as exergy. Next question देखते हैं. The maximum useful work that is obtainable in the process in which the system comes to equilibrium with surrounded is availability of given system. ठीक है, आगे देखते हैं. Which property is called the steady flow availability function, which is a b equal to h minus t naught per unit mass. The irreversibility of process due to the dissipation of work which led to increase in the internal energy of a system is called as mechanical irreversibility. The dead state of a system must have zero velocity and minimum potential energy. The maximum useful work that obtainable in the process in which the system come to equilibrium with surrounded is availability of the given system. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट देखते हैं. The maximum work output obtainable for a certain heat input in a cycle heat engine is called as available energy. The maximum portion of energy that can be converted to useful work is known as an exergy. The actual work done by a system is always less than that idealized reversible work, and the difference between two is called the irreversibility of the process. The ratio of the actual useful work to the maximum useful work is called effectiveness. The Hartmann free energy F relation is F equal to U minus Ts. ठीक है, आगे देखते हैं. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. The term G equal to H minus Ts is known as free energy function. Match the following enthalpy Hartmann free equation. ठीक है, अभी हमने ये देखा हुआ है कि A का क्या होगा, U प्लस पी वी. हार्टमैन फ्री एनर्जी इक्वेशन जो आपका सही हो U माइनस Ts. ठीक है, और तो हेंस ऑप्शन सी इज करेक्ट. ठीक है, जूल थॉमसन कोफिशिएंट म्यू फॉर आइडियल गैस इज 0. ठीक है, द कॉपरियन इक्वेशन इज डिराइव्ड बाय विच ऑफ द मैक्सवेल इक्वेशन. ठीक है, तो आपको पता है कि डेल पी अपन डी टी इक्वल टू डेल एस बाई वी से किया गया. ठीक है, देखते हैं. मैक्सवेल relation corresponding to the thermodynamics relation dH equal to T ds minus Vp is del T upon del P S equal to del V upon del S. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट देखते हैं. Which of the following is not correctly matched? तो which is 3 and 4 is not. When a real gas undergoes Joule-Thomson expansion, the temperature may increase or decrease. The value of the compressibility factor of van der Waals gas is 0.375. The reversible isothermal and isochronic process that had free energy which is remains constant. The compressibility factor of any gas usually function of pressure, volume and temperature. Joule-Thomson coefficient mu is defined as mu T upon del P. A substance whose Joule-Thomson coefficient is negative is throttled to a lower pressure during this process. क्या होता है? The temperature of substance will increase. The real gas of a Colliers equation of state B V minus B RT then del U upon del P equal to 0. A gas having negative Joule-Thomson coefficient mu is less than 0, the throttle will be क्या होगा? Become warmer. ठीक है. Availability of a system at any given state is a composite property of system and surrounding. Availability of function closed system is expressed as phi u plus p naught p upon t naught. Yes. Law of degradation of energy says that unavailable energy gradually decreases to the increase in reversible process. The value of compressibility factor Z at the critical state of all gases is 0.375. ठीक है, और फिर अगले क्वेश्चन पे चलते हैं. ठीक है, एट द इन्वर्जन पॉइंट द जूल केल्विन कोफिशिएंट इज 0. ठीक है, द कैप्रियन इक्वेशन ऑफ स्टेट प्रोवाइड रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन टेम्परेचर, स्पेसिफिक वॉल्यूम, एंथैल्पी एंड प्रेशर. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट देखते हैं. द क्लेसियस कैल्प्रान इक्वेशन इज सी. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट देखते हैं क्वेश्चन. और द कर्व पास थ्रू डैश ऑफ द enthalpies is called the inversion curve which is the maxima. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट देख लेते हैं. Select the right expression van der Waals equation for real gas which is P equal to A by B square, correct V minus V इक्वल टू RT, ठीक है। अब हम वाटर रिसोर्स एंड कन्वर्जन ऑफ कन्वर्जन प्रोसेस आगे पढ़ेंगे नेक्स्ट वीडियो, ठीक है। थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो, प्लीज़ लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब।